Hey there, fellow Earth lovers. Today we're going on a mission to save our planet from the clutches of carbon emissions. It may sound like a tall order, but fear not, because we've got the lowdown on how we can all do our part to make a difference. And let's be real, it's not like we're giving up pizza. We're just making some tweaks to our daily routines. So, without further ado, let's dive into the world of carbon footprints. We're going to start with the basics. What exactly is a carbon footprint? No, it's not some kind of eco-CSI investigation. A carbon footprint is the total amount of greenhouse gases emitted into the atmosphere as a result of our daily activities. And trust us when we say our footprints are way bigger than those cute little footprints in the sand. So, what are the big contributors to carbon emissions? We're talking transportation, power plants, agriculture, and even fashion. In India, switching to reusable bags can save around 5 kilos of CO2 annually. Turning off a light for 1 hour can save approximately 0.03 kilos of CO2 per hour per light. Now, let's talk about what we learned in school versus what's really causing all the carbon chaos. Back in the day, we were taught that planting trees and turning off the lights would save the planet. And sure, it's a good start, but we've got to tackle the big boys, those emissions from our daily activities. First up, let's talk about cars. An average petrol car in India emits about 1.2 to 1.5 tons of CO2 per year. Yes, not so feasible, but imagine if we all started walking, biking, or catching the bus. Not only would we get in some exercise, but we'd also give Mother Earth a much-needed breather. Next, let's discuss air travel. It's astonishing how we can fly across the world in a day, but a single round-trip flight from Delhi to Mumbai emits approximately 0.5 tons of CO2 per passenger. That's right, by opting for a local vacation or an alternative modes of travel, you can avoid this sky-high emission. Although getting rid of your car or flying is a personal decision, it necessitates a cultural shift. Now when it comes to powering our homes, we can switch to energy-efficient light bulbs or even invest in some solar panels. And lastly, on to the delicious part, our diets. Livestock farming is a heavyweight champ in the greenhouse gas arena. Wondering how? Cows and other livestock have a special way of digesting food called enteric fermentation. This process produces methane, a super potent greenhouse gas, which they release mostly through belching. Yep, you heard that right, cow burps, and it doesn't stop there. Livestock manure also releases methane, especially if it's stored without enough oxygen. We also clear large areas of forests to make room for grazing. This deforestation releases a lot of stored carbon dioxide from trees and soil into the atmosphere. And don't forget about the feed. Growing crops to feed all those animals requires lots of energy. From using synthetic fertilizers to burning fossil fuels for planting, harvesting, and transporting, we end up releasing CO2, methane, and nitrous oxide. So, what can we do? Every little bit helps. Reducing meat consumption and adopting a plant-based diet and more sustainable farming practices can do wonders for reducing carbon emissions and can save up to 800 kilos of CO2 annually per person. Who knew that swapping out that juicy steak for some fresh veggies could help save the world? But here's the main one, the population. That's right, our growing population is a major factor in climate change. We're growing fast. More people means more of everything, right? More food, more houses, more cars, more, well, stuff. And all that stuff needs to be produced, transported, and used, all of which takes energy. Now let's get into some numbers. As of now, we're sitting at about 8 billion people on this planet. By 2050, we're expected to hit nearly 10 billion. That's like adding 2 more Chinas to the world. Each person, on average, contributes to CO2 emissions through their daily activities, from driving cars to using electricity, even down to the food we eat. So, what's the takeaway? Well, it's clear that our growing population is a big factor in rising CO2 emissions. But before you pack up and move to Mars, there's good news. We have the power to make a difference right here, right now. Our choices as consumers play a big role in carbon emissions too. Next time you're out shopping, take a look at the labels and opt for products that are made sustainably and packaged in eco-friendly materials. So there you have it. More people equal more CO2, but it also means more hands to help solve the problem. In the end, reducing our carbon footprint is like the ultimate team sport. We've all got to pitch in and do our part, whether it's by ditching single-use plastics, supporting sustainable businesses, or spreading the word like an eco-evangelist. So, let's raise our eco-friendly glasses and toast to a healthier planet and a brighter future. Let's be the change we wish to see in the world, one eco-conscious choice at a time. And as we take those small, impactful steps towards a greener future, let's remember that the planet is not just ours. It's a gift to be cherished and cared for.